good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is where you get to watch this. I just want to say welcome. Welcome to the very first episode of my YouTube channel. My name is Muriel Ndimande. I'm gonna say that again, Muriel Ndimande, popularly, unfortunately known as Zama. But going forward, can we just everyone just use Muriel? All right. So this is the very first episode of my channel. I'm actually excited now, but throughout the time while I was preparing myself for this, it was nerve-wracking. I got so anxious. I started watching so many YouTubers, and that was like the worst decision ever, because after that I was just like, but what I'm trying to do is nothing like what everyone is doing. Is that like, is it even going to work? And then I remembered it definitely will work because it's different, right? So today's episode is not going to be, there's not going to be much to it. It's just going to be an introduction where I introduce myself to you guys, tell you guys what I'm about, what I'm trying to accomplish with this channel, and yeah, so we'll take it from there. So let me just quickly start you guys off with the background about me. So I studied film and television production, but for me it's always been about the pre-production. So that would be researching, content creation, script writing, creative writing, all of those things. That's always been my forte, and I absolutely love the art of storytelling. So I think it was back in 2019, after trying so hard to break into the industry, where I went into a very dark place, and I was convinced I'm not doing art anymore, I'm over art. But unfortunately for me, it's a passion. It's more than just a career choice. It's an absolute passion. I live it in my everyday life. Like, I write all the time. I'm a reader as well, but I write so much even when I'm unaware of it. So unfortunately for me, I was not able to just forget about it. So 2019, late 2019, when I finally realized that it's not something that I can just forget about, I went back and I was like, okay, so what can I do? How is it that I can actually tell my stories? Because I tried the writing and blogging thing, and people, you guys are lazy. Ain't nobody got time to be reading now. So I thought, how about I do a YouTube channel, right? This was back in 2019, late 2019. So for some reason, I just kept putting it off, and then the year ended, and then we started 2020. So 2020, I was determined. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna start now. And then God was like, child, that's not what I have planned for you. So in 2020 started off, I actually went on a spiritual journey, an unplanned and unforeseen spiritual journey. When I say spiritual journey, I mean, what happened was, all of a sudden, I just started losing interest in everything. I lost interest in things that would bring me joy the most. I lost interest in being around people as a whole. I've always been a praying person, so that was like nothing new. But during this time, this was early 2020, just before the whole lockdown and COVID thing started, I just wanted to be with myself more. I spoke to God a lot more than I did ever in my life, and I started getting these very vivid dreams, and I got to explore the spiritual realm a bit more. When I say spiritual realm, I'm not just talking about the Christian part of it. I got to understand that my late grandmother, who passed away in 2017, is actually my guardian angel. I would have the most vivid dreams with her in them. I still do, where she'd guide me and we just have conversations. So that journey for me was very much needed. It was a needed journey. I thought, honestly, if you can ask anyone that knows me, I had thought I had reached my peak when it comes to growing spiritually, but boy was I wrong. Even now, I'm not going to say I've reached my peak. I'm ready for anything, because you can never be certain of anything when it comes to the spiritual realm. So that happened in 2020. So I disconnected from everything. I went off social media completely for that particular year. And then here we are. So to be honest, I don't think I would have done this if it wasn't for one particular person. Just give me a sec. I'm kind of thirsty. Yeah, so I don't think I would have done this if it wasn't for one particular person. So there's a colleague of mine, and it was in December. We were working and we had a random conversation, and he was like, I genuinely think you should start a podcast. This is a random guy that I had just started working with. He doesn't know me that well. So he's like, I think you should start a podcast. I'm like, why? He's like, you have this thing of when you speak or when you talk to people, you're able to touch within the emotions, or you're able to make them see a bigger picture and all of those things. And I'm like, that's funny, because I've always felt like it, but I never acted on it. So I was like, okay, let me not just jump straight into a podcast. Let me first get my YouTube channel out, get people to understand me and get people to know me first, and then we can move on to the podcast where I actually invite other people and I have conversations with those people as well. Okay, so yeah, that's basically it. So what I'm trying to accomplish with this YouTube channel, so it's been said that I am a very, very controversial person. Controversial in a sense that my opinions are not the same as abanye bantu usually. Like, I have very strong and out of the box opinions. I'm gonna say out of the box opinions because this word controversial, it has a very negative stigma to it. So I'm gonna say out of the box opinions, and I would like to share my experiences as well with people, because I've noticed now that in this world that we live in, we are living in a facade. I hope I said that right, a facade. But everyone wants to make people think they've got this life thing figured out and they're smashing it. Nobody wants to actually be open and sit down and talk about how hard shit can be, and the good parts. Yes, there are great parts, but the other parts that we try so hard to avoid, the parts that we don't want to talk about, the parts that we hide from people, and I feel like that is what is putting so much pressure on us as this generation. This generation is we are literally dying of unnecessary pressure that we have put on ourselves because of this fake image that we like to present to other people. So I'm probably the least materialistic person that you'll meet. For me, it is always and will always be about depth. I'm a very deep person, and as I've mentioned, I'm a very spiritual person. I want when I'm around people, it's not I don't even remember what people are wearing most of the time when I'm around them. I don't remember what I was wearing yesterday, because those things don't matter to me. For me, it's about the depth of the person, the depth of the conversation that we can have. How far are you? How far are you willing to go? Do you know what you need to do for you to get to where you're trying to go? All of those things are what I actually look into when I have conversations with people. But because life, right, I have minimized, or actually subtracted, not minimized, like there's nothing left of it, friends, because we're gonna go back a bit, right? I'm gonna try to keep this as short as I can, but so I grew up in the city. I'm a city girl, born and raised in South Beach, Durban. I live with both my parents. So growing up as a kid, when I was in primary school, nothing really interesting happened in my life. I was not a popular girl. I was just, a girl. My parents were very strict, so I was limited to the things that I could do. If I was going out, I'd have to go out with them, those type of things. So when I got to high school, I got a bit more freedom. I got the freedom mostly as well because my parents are currently went like through a separation type of thing, but that's a story on its own for another day. So when I got to high school, I kind of got a little freedom because I had to travel to get to school, and and somehow, without even me realizing it, I became one of the popular girls, right? Which took a huge spike in my confidence. For me, it was borderline arrogance. When I think and I look back now, it was borderline arrogance. Like, it wasn't just being confident anymore. I became arrogant, and I was very selfish, and and I was a cool girl. I was the girl, one of those girls, bunk school, to go hang out and train with the people, all of those things. But when push came to shove, I think when I got older, this was like grade 8, grade 9, not grade 8, grade 9, grade 10. Then when I got to grade 11, we had a huge circle of girls, right? So it was, I don't even know how many of us were in the circle. Then when we got to grade 11, I think that's when most of us started to descend and see that this is my personality, so my personality trait goes better with this person, my personality trait goes better with this person, and all of those things, right? So sakula, and then the circle just, you know, forward go this way, forward go that way. Then I ended up with just one person out of that whole circle, who still happens to be my best friend. So that's when I realized, or that's when I got to see like umuntu wakhula. And then from there, I've never allowed a lot of people around me. I became very, I'm not gonna say non-trusting, but I became very aware and conscious of the people that are allowed in my life, mainly because I experienced a lot of backstabbing. I experienced a lot of fake friends. And the term fake friends nowadays is used very loosely, but I remember this one time, this was back when I was in high school. I think that was the last time I allowed myself to have like abangani, abaningi. I was in a relationship, and it was quite a serious relationship. It was my first official relationship, and you know, it was a big deal. But because now, remember I told you that I had become a bit arrogant because of the attention that I was getting, I started being, you know, a bit, you know, not so faithful. I don't want to say infidelity because that makes it sound so serious, but I was playing around with other people while I had this amazing boyfriend. And every time something would happen in my life between me and this partner of mine, or just between me and anyone, I noticed that it was always someone within the circle that would have let the beans spill. I remember we once got called out for bunking school because one of our friends who couldn't go snitched, you know. So from that time, I think, and my mom, I have a very strong relationship with my mother, guys. She's always been encouraging me, and the reason she says we are so close, or she wants to make sure that me and her have such a stable and connected relationship, is because akafuni ukuthi ngigcine ngikhuluma nabantu, because abantu at the end of the day never have your best intentions at hand. I want people to always remember that. So from that time, from there onwards, I've just been like, I've got a very beautiful, I'm a very bubbly person, to say the least, you know. I'm loud, I'm the life of the party, I'm there, I'm out there. So obviously I will attract people, and it's not that I'm like, oh, get away from me, I don't wanna, but I limit the things that people get to know about me. Like I've mastered that. I have genuinely mastered my boundaries. Like there are so many boundaries, and it's not just towards friendships but family as well. We're gonna touch on that. We're gonna have an entire episode on that as well, family as a whole. And maybe people will understand, because I get a lot of bashing when I say my only family is my parents. Because people are like, oh my god, how can you say that? How do you expect the rest of your family to feel? But I don't feel bad for saying that, because I'm being honest. When push comes to shove, family is the people that you know you can rely on, the people that you know have your best interests at heart, and the people that you know you can call up and be like, yo, something just went down and I need this, and this person won't judge or even tell the next person about it, right? So yeah, so basically I think I've derailed so many times. I'm so sorry. You guys are gonna get used to this. So basically, guys, the reason why I've started this YouTube channel is because I want us to get away from the facade and the fake things that people are only putting out there, where we only talk about the good things in our lives and the superficial things that people now pay attention to. How many designer bags I have, how many times I've gone to Dubai, and how many times I've flown, and how many, all of those things don't matter, right? This show is going to be a show where we actually get in touch with ourselves. this is going to be a show where I share some of my experiences and we talk about our feelings. Every time I meet people, I always make sure that I tell people, or I let people know, I make them understand how important mental health is to me. Your mental health, for me, anyone in my life, is very important. It's the most important thing. Everything else can wait. Even at work, people know this. It's I've got you because I want you to got you, because once your mental health is not good, or it is messed with, that messes with your whole being. So I'm an encourager of mental health. So that's going to be another thing that we're going to be going through and we're going to discover together, and I'm going to be sharing so many things. I'm going to be interacting with you guys though, so I will ask, like I have been I've started doing this now on my Instagram and Facebook, where I ask people to ask me questions so we can interact. Like there'll probably be a segment later on, because I kind of have a lot planned for now. I think I've got like the first 5 episodes planned out already. So later on, where people will be like, I want you to speak about this particular topic, I want you to speak about this particular topic. I love researching, guys. So it will be fun for me when I get you guys involved. But yes, so that's pretty much what Muriel Ndimande is about. I thought of naming the show, tea or controversial something, but I just thought too soon. We'll find a name as we go by. But please, guys, to everyone that has already subscribed to this channel, thank you. I do not have enough words to thank you guys. And to everyone that's actually watching this, please make sure that you subscribe, share this page with other people as well, and hit me up on the comment section. I think that's how it works. And also follow me on my social media platforms. I will definitely be putting all of those details down below. But please, guys, like for me, I just need you guys to subscribe. I need you guys to share this as much as you can, so that we get a bigger audience and we're able to face the real world together. So I'm looking forward to a whole lot more episodes with you guys. And yes, so episode 1 done. My name is Muriel Ndimande, and I will be seeing you guys pretty soon. Thank you. Oh yes, and I think we need to start familiarizing ourselves with screaming when you see me, because I'm celebrating.